nice it looks, with the colors.
Hello, good evening. It's our final day, day 12 of Red Bull X-Alps 2025. I'm joined tonight by Jean de Bialet and of course Gavin McClogue. Welcome, guys. God, this weather is just foul, isn't it, Jean? I mean, can you imagine what it's like for Cabbrand, who's still out there battling away 15 kilometers from the finish?
I think now he's still very excited because he knows that he's gonna get to the finish, and that's the most important thing. But yeah, for sure it was probably a hard day, but he did a great fight.
Gavin and I are going to have to eat our words because we were on this show last night just saying no chance, no one else, no one will follow. And he's done it. He's pulled it off the bat. I don't know how he's done it, but you know, what a trooper. Amazing performance from Cabbrand. But Jean, talking about your performance, how has this Red Bull X-Alps experience been for you? Did it live up to your expectation? Was it what you expected?
For sure, it was what I expected, but then even more. Like also some things I hoped would not happen, like getting hurt or something. But at the same time, everything worked out really well with the team. We had like really amazing hike and fly flights. Conditions were sometimes really tough, so I had like my worst flight, but also my best ones. I just had an amazing experience.
When I saw you up at the Monzino hut, you know, you were putting on quite a brave face and saying, "Oh no, I'm good. The body's healing every day." But you could see that you were still in a lot of discomfort. I mean, you couldn't actually walk. You couldn't put your heel down. Yeah. What actually happened with the accident?
So I was in St. Moritz when I landed at the turn point, and then we hiked really fast up because it was getting the end of the day, and we tried to catch the last cycle to go out of the valley. And I tried to thermal, did the first tour, and then got in a huge sink, and instead of climbing, I just crashed into the mountain. So it was a huge lesson for me, and there's a bigger picture. But I think I already learned from the experience, and I'm gonna process it more. But just very happy that we could have a full medical check, that everything was fine. I mean, the ankle was sprained, but nothing was broken, and it was only the pain that was gonna slow me down. But eventually, we managed.
It's amazing you managed to continue with a sprained ankle. I mean, that's mental.
I think because I already had sprained ankles before, and I knew from my experience that if you start walking on it, it's painful. And we also had like 2 very good days coming, where I did only 9 kilometers per day, and we flew like a lot. So the timing was perfect.
Jean, you told me earlier today you did things a little bit differently than how you learned with Tom de Dorlado. You were his supporter in the last race. He wasn't able to compete this time with his accident, but you said it was quite a different structure. Talk about that.
Tom is like, he has a lot of years of experience, and he knows the Alps very well, which is not my case. So the strategy and the logistics, I rely way more on my supporters and my team to help me, whereas Tom is like, he's in the mountains and he's like following his gut, and we are helping him, but it wasn't that much of it didn't have so much impact, I think, than what my supporters did for me. I mean, without them, I would be lost sometimes in the mountains, for real.
Do you think being a supporter really impacted your performance this time? Do you think it really helps you understand the race and what's important and how to attack the race?
Yeah, for sure. And especially having Tom around in the beginning, and he had a lot of wise words and like always sending me messages during the race, like, okay, you had a great race, stay safe, or focus on this one, or you know, you can do this and this. And it was really nice to have him, and also really like encouraging me a lot, gave me a lot of energy, knowing that like he was right behind me. That was really great.
What was his best advice?
Yeah, at some point, even if I was already hurt, he was like, now you have to survive until the end, like don't mess it up. You're doing a good race. And I was like, okay, now we have to calm down, make sure we get enough rest so that we are fit mentally, that we can focus and make good decisions.
So you had a successful Red Bull X-Alps, you made goal, you finished in 14th place, 2027?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Interesting, that was very quick to reply.
Yeah, no, like I said to Gavin this morning, when I signed up for this one, I really hoped that I would gain as much experience as I can, so that I'm better, I will be better and stronger in 2027, yeah.
Fantastic. Jean, Gavin, you got anything else you want to ask John before?
No, I just wanted to say congratulations. I know what your team went through, and you know, the injury, and just to keep marching. You know, I think the tendency sometimes is, I won't be as fast, can't do as well, and I really like to see the grit, man. And you did great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, our next feature, we have a feature on an athlete who is simultaneously one of the most experienced athletes, but also one of the youngest. He is, of course, Tommy Friedrich from Austria, who's been involved in this race one way and another for over 10 years. You probably remember seeing him as just a teenage boy at the first prologue in 2015.
Yes.
And here he is competing once again for the third time with another successful Red Bull X-Alps outing.
20 vor 4. Um 4 dürfen wir starten, um 4 kommt der Heli. Na, werden wir sehen. Wird irgendwie machbar sein, dass wir aus der Heli kommen. Hoffe ich. We are at the beautiful Nördlinger Hütte. We had a quite challenging day yesterday with some wind and difficult between the thunderstorms when they come, and they moved quite fast. And after we landed, we got the message that we receive a 12-hour penalty for an airspace in Locarno. Got pushed a little bit into the CTR. That's the race, and in the end we got 12 hours for a little mistake, which is quite hard. So we start at 4 again today. Yeah, I think we did quite a lot of good decisions and good moves, especially in the beginning of the race. In the end, I think my decisive point was after Grindelwald, where I decided to go with Lars in the front. I was with Lars and Simon, and we did the crossing, and then we had to go on the lee side, which was quite turbulent and quite much valley wind already. Then we got pushed down by the valley wind, and Lars decided to go more into the mountains and thermaled up higher. Simon somehow also got out of the place we were, and I had to land, and I lost maybe half an hour, 1 hour hiking back up. Then I took off again. And the 1 hour I lost got more when we came to Niesen. It's even more hard to get up again. And it was like, I think the longest I've ever stayed at one place, thermaling and trying to get up to Niesen. And in the end, I managed to get to the top, but then it was like 2 or 3 hours. If you fly like 30 kilometers per hour, it's already 60 or 90 kilometers that the others were in front and were able to fly on this day. Then after that, to the next Via Ferrata, we came also on a quite bad timing. We came there at the best thermal time. So the gap also got a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And sometimes if you're in the back, the weather is on your side and you're able to catch up again to the front. But yeah, if it happens more often, from time to time it will be that the weather in front is better, and then the gap is opening and opening and opening. From then on, we did our own race, and it was super cool. We did a lot of great decisions. We tried to make our own race and to finish it in Zell am See. And now today we start at 4 p.m. and then we see how far we can get. And yeah, that's the things we have to deal in the race. And also what we like, because it's understanding the mountains, it's understanding the conditions and understanding the routes you can choose and you can do. And every time you come here and every time you're out in the mountains flying, you realize something more and you experience something more. And next time you come there, you know already, or you may think you know a little bit better what's going on. But yeah, that's the interesting thing about the race. And I'm super grateful to have such a great team, and they supported me in every high and especially in every low. Like this, X-Alps is possible. And I already mentioned before the race that I don't know if Friedrich will do it again. So for sure, he's the one with the most experience. He's also still one of the fittest, I think. And also, from my opinion, one of the strongest in the head. I don't know, but I had a little bit of feeling that it will not be Kriegel. I thought maybe Maxime before the race. But yeah, in the end, it was a race in the air. They were all four together. And yeah, I really crossed my fingers for Simon, because he's one of my best friends. Last hour I was flying on this day, I was just looking at the live tracking and checking where they are and like pushing, and I wrote Simon that he should give everything he can. And in the end, yeah, Aaron did a different route in the end, which was a little bit faster. And yeah, it's a super deserved win for him, and he's a super good athlete. When I was with him in Meran, in his hometown, he was like super chilled, and I think with this mentality you can win X-Alps. And yesterday, after we received the message of the penalty, I was a bit down. And they were like planning and taking options, and one option was to go 40 kilometers under the airspace, and I said, okay, mentally, I think with the penalty, I cannot do it today. I cannot walk 40 kilometers today on the road, and difficult. And in the end, we decided to go up here and start flying, tumbling here at 4 p.m. And it's a perfect west face, so it should work. And hopefully today, maybe not today, but tomorrow it will be possible for us to finish the race in Zell am See.
Great report there on an athlete who in many ways has made a great comeback in this race. He got that really unfortunate time penalty, and that's got to hurt at the end of a race, you know, when you have to sit there and just watch everyone fly overhead.
And that mid-pack was right there. He really had them, and many of them were able to sneak past with that 12-hour penalty. It's just the worst feeling in the world, you know. And Tommy's a great athlete, and he's so young. He's going to be able to come back from this, I'm sure. He's been the youngest every time, the last 3 editions.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
He's still the youngest.
That's a world factoid of
I
this
didn't
race.
even know what paragliding was when I was his age. So, you know, there's much more to be seen from Tommy Friedrich.
Yeah. When I saw him on the float, he was just super happy. By the end, I think he'd got over it. He said, I'm just happy to be here.
Course.
You know, with the team, successful race, all that stuff. But at the time, yeah, it must have hurt.
Just to finish.
But
it's a huge deal.
I do seem to recall that penalties were much harsher for airspace infringements. I mentioned, you know, when Paul Takats, he got a 48-hour penalty in 2017.
It really depends on the airspace, and this is the thing it's hard to get across. You know, in the earlier years, we only had to really worry about a few of them, just the CTRs. And every edition, there's more and more and more of these national parks and places you can't land, and it's gotten really complicated. And you know, so it's really up to the meet director, but they brief you in advance that if it's a CTR like it was there, you know, just that little corner where so many hit it, it's just going to be 12 hours. But often the CTRs are quite a bit worse. And remember Ogi back
CTR being the controlled airspace, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember back in, I forget the year, but when Ogi was leading the race and hit that CTR, he was out.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always a bummer.
And
12 hours is a long time to wait around.
Yeah, and even with all these instruments, it's not always that straightforward to follow them, because you know the pressure might be different. They might be giving slightly different altitudes. There's a lot going on as well when you're just trying to fly your wing.
It's really hard to read it. I mean, and some of them there's multi levels, like the ones around Innsbruck. I mean, it's like playing chess in the air trying to figure it out. You know, there's the ceiling and the lower ceiling, and the CTR and the warning ones. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, except on certain days, and it just gets really tricky.
Yeah. And the other thing, of course, when you rest for 12 hours, your body starts to try and heal itself. And, you know, sometimes your body is worse after a kind of a 12-hour rest, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, all the athletes talk about once you kind of break through those first few days, your body gets adjusted to it, and you can just go and go and go. And when the training all winter, and you come to the race and you have the taper, it's really hard to sleep. You know, you're just resting up before the race, and your body doesn't know what's going on. Where's all the training? Where's all the movement? Let's go get the 40 Ks every day. And so that's the same in the race. You know, when I spoke to David, he had his 12-hour penalty. He's always happy about everything. He said, "Oh, it was great. I got a lot of sleep." He loved it.
Now, for the next feature, Joanna de Grigoli has been speaking to and looking at athletes who, when they signed up, didn't think they would make the cut. So this is what she discovered in this next report.
Am I good enough for this? The Red Bull X-Alps is the toughest adventure race, and to be in it, athletes need to be skilled, both in the air and on the ground. They must be able to fly in alpine conditions, hike thousands of vertical meters, and deal with weather, exhaustion, and other challenges. For many athletes out there, this race is just a dream, and many don't even dare to apply. But this year's race was another proof that with determination and hard work, athletes can make their dream of participating in the Red Bull X-Alps come true. You might think that having a full-time job is an obstacle, but Christian Schug and Patrick Harvey Collard managed to find the time to train and showed excellent performances during the race. Some lightweight pilots, especially women, might be put off from registering because smaller gliders don't perform as well. But Shane Teague proved everyone wrong by flying an extra small glider, making the podium in the prologue, sticking with the leaders until half of the race, and finishing in 17th place. For other athletes, the greatest obstacles was themselves, like Jure Koren, who never thought he'd even get selected. Well, he not only participated, but became the first Slovakian athlete to ever finish at Red Bull X-Alps after dreaming about it for so long. It used to be a popular belief that only alpine athletes could perform well, but rules have changed, and athletes like Gabriel Jansen are the best example. With only 4 years of paragliding, Gabriel put in the work to hone his paragliding skills and be physically fit. That and 2 months of scouting the Alps and training allowed him to stay with the leaders until day 5. The next Red Bull X-Alps is in 2 years. Are you good enough for it? Start training and see you in...
So Cabbrand is the big story of today, and we're going to come to him in just a second, heroically battling on in this downpour of rain. But for the other news of today, it began with an elimination. Martin Iniguez, his race ended, and then Andre Prohaska, he withdrew, which is kind of like, we were talking about this earlier, it's a little bit of a sad end to a race. It didn't work out today, and he just decided to quit.
Yeah, and I really would have thought he would just chill with his team. You know, no reason really to withdraw, even if he makes another 10K, but we'll have to talk to him when he gets in. You know, I know that it's a grind and it gets you.
His day didn't work out, but it did work out for Erlend Ukvitner, the first Norwegian athlete to make goal. He was super happy and he managed to glide down to the float. Perfect landing, spot landing on the float, super happy. But as I mentioned at the beginning, this day really belongs to Cabbrand, and what an extraordinary athlete. He's covered so much ground today. He is one determined boy to make it to goal, as this clip is now going to show. He may not be the fastest athlete out there, but boy is he determined. Gavin, what can you tell us about Cabbrand?
You know, he's really given it his all. I've loved his attitude. You know, he really didn't think he was going to be selected. Last year he did quite well in the hike and fly race that I run called the X-Red Rocks, and he was already thinking about it. He'd already moved over here to train in the Alps. He's given it so much dedication.
He's been based in Grenoble, hasn't he?
Exactly, and I kind of got a soft spot in my heart for him because his trainer was my trainer for all 4 of my campaigns, Ben Abruzzo, and I texted him earlier today and I said, he's just had an insane day of flying. I mean, really impressive in the weather that was coming his way. And I said, you know, he's got 40, 50K to come in. I think he can do it. And Ben said, he totally can do it. He did the work. He's an animal. He'll get in there for sure. He's just been so determined. I've been really enjoying watching his race.
Now, when we started today, we didn't think any of it looked flyable. And it looks like he's managed to piece together a few flights, getting one up over Ondra, taking a different line, and he, you know, when I looked at the map, I was thinking, wow, he's really making some progress. He was up near Virgil, and as you know, this was thinking, oh, he's 50K out. I mean, he's a marathon. It's doable. 5 hours, 6 hours, he could get here.
I think he's had some real, you know, and he's been very vocal about this. He's had some real emotional kind of ups and downs, and just questioning. You know, do I belong here? Can I do this? You know, he took all day to do the prologue. He had an epic in the prologue, which then meant a huge delay starting the race. And I think he's really just had to reshift expectations and goals. But today he had a ripper. I think today it all kind of came together for him. And I do know how to do this. I do know how to fly. I'm a good pilot, and I'm getting there.
He's going to get a big reward tomorrow. A big. You know, I think a lot of people are going to come out.
Well deserved.
Yeah, like he did at the prologue. Obviously, we're going to go live for that, but stay tuned to our WhatsApp channel, redbullxalps.com/WhatsApp. We will post the time when we know that Aaron, Cabbrand. It's all getting to us when Cabbrand gets into within sight of goal. We don't yet know whether he'll be able to fly tomorrow down to the float because cloud base is looking quite low. But we'll go live for that moment, and it's a special moment it's going to be. What a trooper. We'll leave you though with Aaron. He's coming next with that amazing footage from his camera as he came down to the finishing float to win Red Bull X-Alps 2025. And that's all from me. Thanks. And from Gavin.
Good night.
When I was a kid, X-Alps was still not, it didn't exist. So my childhood dream was to win the World Cup, the paragliding World Cup. The day before I watch the weather and I think, okay, I'm gonna fly like this. Then I stand up, I see the sky and I fly. I just focus on myself. I didn't have any call, I didn't watch any WhatsApp, nothing, no live tracking. And yeah, I keep this flow all the way. On the X-Alps as first, it was really super emotional because all the effort I put in the years, every X-Alps was a little step and a little stone, which in the end lead to the winning of yesterday.
Got him on block.